with the live album's theme, Blackfoot.
Yes.
Highway Song Live.
Is that a single or double?
It is a single album. This album was released in Europe, not in the US.
I've never seen it.
Originally. For whatever reason, Blackfoot were really popular in that new wave of British heavy metal scene over there. They were accepted there, and yet here they weren't.
And over there is probably a much more unique sound, bringing that southern rock kind of thing over to Europe.
Right, and they were mixing the southern rock with the heavy metal, which was
Right.
also. I mean, Skinner had a hard sound, but they didn't have that kind of edge that Blackfoot and Molly
had a
Hatchet
little bit
had.
more,
You know?
yeah.
And anyhow, for whatever reason, the record label in the United States wanted a new record from them.
So this is part of like the new wave of British southern rock.
So anyhow, the record label over in Europe, or in the United States, wanted a new record from them, but in Europe they were offered these headlining tours, and they wanted a live record. So this is obviously the direction they went.
MCA?
This is on Atco.
Oh, okay. So
And
their American one was Atlantic? Or one of their subsidiaries? Because ATCO was an Atlantic subsidiary.
Atlantic subsidiary, yeah, because that's what AC/DC was on. But,
yeah.
and they were still, on this one, they were still a 4-piece. I'm sorry, they were still a 5-piece. They hadn't brought on
Keyboard player?
keyboard player yet. What's his name? From
No clue.
Ken Hensley.
Oh, that's right, from Uriah Heep. What an odd pairing.
Yeah, and he
British organist
Yes.
from progressive band joined southern rock band, making it big in Europe.
Right.
Weird.
But this was the last album. This was the last album that I would truly say was a southern rock album. After that, they were going for a more mainstream sound. Quiet Riot really rocked their world, and the label was pushing them towards that sound.
Okay.
If you go to Charlie Haggart's site, he's got he talks all about what was happening with the record company on his website and why he kind of backed off from the band because he wanted to do this.
Was this before Siogo?
This was just
Or
after
Just
Siogo.
after.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken. I'm wrong. This
82.
started before Siogo.
Or was it the same year?
No, Siogo I'm pretty sure came after this.
Because Siogo had Teenage Idol on it. Is that on there?
Yeah, no, that's not on here. Yeah, this was before. I'm sorry, it is before. Because was Ken Hensley on Siogo? No, he was not.
I don't believe so.
No, he was on the one after that. I don't know. We may be confusing it.
Vertical Smiles?
We're just radical. Yeah, he was on Vertical Smiles for sure. All right, anyhow, Blackfoot Highway Song Live. Staying with the live theme.
Yeah, this one, I don't know, a lot of controversy about this one, really. For one thing, it was this band's first proper live album. The other side of that, well, Black Sabbath, Live Evil. They never really had a live album, but they did. But the thing is it came out only in Europe, and it wasn't necessarily sanctioned by the band. It was more of a label thing.
Yeah, it was a semi-official, I always call it.
Yeah, it's called Live at Last. Came out in '80, but it was recorded like in '73, I think. But, so first Sabbath proper live album, double live, with Ronnie James Dio at the helm. But half of it is Ronnie James Dio material, half of it is Ozzy. Personally, I've never really been a fan of listening to Dio do the Ozzy stuff. I love Dio doing the Dio Sabbath
Yes,
stuff.
I agree.
So that's why when I saw them and they did all Dio stuff,
That was great.
what a great show.
Oh man, I saw him on that very first tour he did with them, Under Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
The other piece of kind of controversy on this one is the mix. Weird mix. And the story was always that Ronnie went in and mixed his vocals louder and put the music in the background. And the music definitely sounds like it's in the background. It's got a weird, almost like the hall is massive and the music's not quite filling it. It's a weird mix. Cool album. It's definitely a must for any Sabbath fan, and it's pretty interesting, but it's just odd.
They've since released other, records from this tour that are actually better.
Oh, way better.
Because they're
Like
mixed better.
what was the one that Rhino did, that handmade?
Yeah, the handmade Rhino. I have that on vinyl too. So do you, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Hammersmith.
Yeah, Hammersmith Odeon show. Awesome. But so this is an oddball. It's got an interesting cover.
That's got a great cover.
The cover is all it's a painting, but it's all representative of different Sabbath.
Yeah, it's all Black Sabbath songs animated. Yeah. Characters.
We got the Neon Knight. We got the guy from Mob Rules here.
War Pigs.
The War Pig. Children of the Sea. The figure in black from Black Sabbath.
Children of the Grave.
Iron Man. Where's Children? Oh, that's right. Children of the Sea, but they're in a coffin.
So it's
Children of the Grave and Children of the Sea. Voodoo. Paranoid.
Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, Heaven and Hell. So it's interesting. Really interesting.
I always love the cover.
Yeah, cover's definitely.
I mean, come on, when you were that old in '82, however we were teenagers.
Oh yeah.
and you got this record, were you not just sitting there staring at the cover the entire time listening to it?
Yeah, like naming every song.
Yeah.
And, yeah, for sure. Wow, that's a little bit.
Yeah. So, anyhow, all right. So getting off the live material now, we're gonna go to this would be his fourth album, I believe. Third album, fourth album for Samson. This was
That's a little loud.
this was the first album for vocalist Nicky Moore, who replaced
Bruce. Dick.
Bruce. Nicky
Got a
Moore.
creative continuity going there. It's cool.
Bruce
Dickinson.
had left the band, of course, and joined Maiden, and
Oh, that's right.
recorded another album
That's
this
right.
same year.
That's right.
But Samson recorded.
I wouldn't worry
For the
about that
Storm.
one. It wasn't a very big chart.
No, it wasn't. We won't even have that on the list.
Nah.
But this is a fantastic album, and I put the album on the outside this time because I just had to show this. Because it's a warning
yeah.
for you guys. Home taping is killing music. So all you guys that are taping your music on cassette tapes, stop, because you're killing the music.
And had you never done that, some bands wouldn't even have made it. I mean, come on. It's not fair.
So honestly, I think the vocalist, what was his name again? Nicky Moore.
He's pretty cool.
He's
I like him.
great voice, great album. But you know what? As much as you hate to say that looks have a part of popularity,
He's a big boy.
He was. I really honestly think that it was part of the reason that Samson didn't, excel.
I mean, but then you look at, like in history, since we're on this issue, you got some pretty heavy dudes like Mountain.
Yeah.
Leslie West. I mean, the name of the band Mountain came directly from Leslie's size. I mean, he was a mountain of a man. And then
John McCoy from GILLAN was a big dude.
He was a big boy too.
Matter of fact, he named his next band, what was it, Mammoth.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. Sometimes I think.
Or what's his name from Molly Hatchet's?
Jimmy Farrar.
Jimmy Farrar.
He was a big boy too.
Big guy, but regardless, I mean, I don't care. But
then you go down. This is totally out of the genre, but the guy from Blues Traveler, well respected. I mean, wicked harp player, but really obese.
Yeah.
And he's actually gone on to lose all that weight, and he's healthier now. And I hate to say it, but the music was better when he was fat.
That's just like saying you're glad guys are off drugs, but the music was better when
Like
they were on
Aerosmith,
drugs.
I love Aerosmith on drugs so much better. But that's neither here nor there.
But anyway, my favorite cut on here, the first track, Danger Zone, and I just thought I had to show. I always love that logo.
Yeah, that's been on a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, and there's the centering, the custom centering on that one side.
The painting of Paul Sampson, and
That's
we
great.
lost Paul Sampson several years ago.
Several years ago, yeah. So great album cover as well. I mean, how much more metal can you say than that?
That was pretty cool.
A Viking,
I don't think I've heard this particular one.
A Viking fighting what do you call that thing?
It looks like a cross between a plesiosaur and a dimetrodon. Huh?
Yeah.
You're going about dinosaurs here too. So maybe it's like the Loch Ness monster, but it's like a whatever.
Yeah. A great album, classic for '82. So.
All right, we're getting close.
Not even close on my side.
Oh, you want to give me a few, or?
No, yeah, we'll hand them across to you.
All right. This one just got done playing. We're into some of the live tracks. Big album for me. First, got introduced to Riot. A friend of mine at a record store called The Record Connection in Waterville, Maine. One day I just walked in and he said, "I think you'll like this." Threw this on. I'm looking at the cover and Hard Lovin' Man comes kicking in with a killer riff. Da, 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 da. It's like, oh my god, this is great. So my first exposure to Riot was the Rhett Forrester Riot of Restless Breed. This is one of those albums, just solid all the way through. Not something that was not necessarily groundbreaking, but very solid and good for what it was for the time, which was just kick-ass hard rock out of New York City. And there's a little bit of a longing, I think, to be something like Bad Company, like from Rhett Forrester, like especially the song that's playing right now, Showdown, and Restless Breed even. There's this kind of cowboy.
I was going to say, my exposure to this band was the live album. It was just the little
The EP that's playing?
the live.
Yeah.
And I thought we had it to show, but
I grabbed it.
I don't know what we did with it. It's not either one of our piles here, so I don't
Oh,
know.
that's weird. I thought I brought it in.
I thought we did too, but regardless.
Oh well. It's just, the cover wasn't much to look at. It just had a big riot and just some text.
And it wasn't
6 cuts. The cool thing about that was Swords and Tequila, sung by Rhett Forrester, which is a big song for them.
And that was the song that pulled me in, that live version of that song.
Guy Speranza, that was kind of a signature tune, but hearing Rhett do it was pretty cool. We lost Rhett. We've lost
Rhett
a
too.
lot of guys in this band.
And Rhett
Guy
released some
died.
solo material was pretty good as well.
Yep. Rhett, he was involved in some stuff that was kind of sketchy, I think.
And you know how I actually discovered Riot was, I don't remember what magazine it was, but there was an advertisement for it. It was like Motorhead and something over in Europe. It was Motorhead and Riot was on the list. I'm like,
okay.
And I had heard of all these bands except for who's Riot?
Yeah. And Mark Reale, he kind of went on to be the band. They went on several albums after this, and he just died a few years ago.
Yep, a few years ago.
And I think Riot is still going.
Riot is still going under the name Riot 5. Yep.
Yeah, but he was the only member from the original days. Really, it was his band from the get-go.
Yeah, very melodic band, very new wave of British heavy metal, but they were an American band.
Yeah. And Rhett Forster's a great frontman.
And they were doing a lot of shows over there in Europe. I remember seeing all those, especially Kerrang! Magazine. Remember, they were always listed with all these other.
Donington, probably in Reading, and stuff.
Riot was always there. American band. They kind of also remind me like the Rods and stuff like that too. Oh, speaking of the Rods.
Yeah. Segue.
Speaking of the Rods, probably my favorite
Fix it in the
My
mix.
favorite Wild Dogs, different band. My favorite Rods album, Wild Dogs. First of all, fantastic album cover. This is just, I just call this straightforward American biker rock.
Oh, it's got the Cerberus on it.
Oh yeah, it's just a great album. I mean, look at those live photos in the back. They were just something to be reckoned with back in the 80s. And for whatever reason, they never really. It's just that they never got out of the underground. They were out of the underground, but they never reached that same status. Like same thing with Riot.
Yeah,
they
just never caught on.
Never got to that status that they should have been at.
I mean, the hardcore, the metalheads were into it.
Exactly. But I mean, this has got some. I mean, first of all, you got the title track, which is one of their best songs, "Violation," "Waiting for Tomorrow," and then the single "Too Hot to Stop" was on here. "Rock and Roll Again." There's just not a bad song on this record.
And a power trio, right?
Yeah, it's a power trio, correct. And if I'm not mistaken, in The Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal by Martin Popoff, he lists this as his favorite Rods album too. So, like I said,
what was the one you showed? Self-titled one you showed for
the self-titled
1981?
one last time. Yeah, 82 is Wild Dogs. So, great. Like I said, great album cover.
Awesome. All right. This one was my first exposure to this band. I was already a Deep Purple fan, huge. Was into all that stuff, and then I realized through, it was probably Circus Magazine, and I think Richie was on the cover, that Richie Blackmore had gone on to make a new band called Rainbow. I'd never heard of them. This is the first album, so it was probably around 82 I'd heard of them. Learned about this album, picked it up, loved it. Completely loved it. Roger Glover's on here, of Deep Purple.
Right.
But the singer is Jolene Turner, which was singer number 3.
Because Graham Bonnet was on the one.
So I was not familiar with any of the Ronnie James Dio stuff or the Graham Bonnet stuff. But so Jolene Turner's the first one I heard. This is a solid album.
That album was huge when I was in high school.
It was great.
It's
There's
great
not a
cover,
bad
too.
song on it.
Great album cover.
It is a cool album cover.
I mean, it's so.
It's got Richie's headstock of his Stratocaster.
It's so of the time.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
It's I mean, I just.
Actually, and if you look at it, that could easily be Richie. That's probably his.
It could
likeness.
be. But it's just a great album, solid album.
Yeah.
Very melodic, very radio oriented.
Very, but still had a real cool edge to it.
Yep.
So it didn't suck.
And a lot of that was due to Blackmore's kind of neo-classical guitar work.
Mm-hmm. And the keyboards in here are provided by David Rosenthal, which where is he now? Killer keys on here. I mean, really that updated organ sound is just more updated technologically, but still really had a down and dirty sound to it. Great album.
Next up, another new wave of British heavy metal band, and I bought 2 of their albums, but I'm going to really talk about one. I just thought I'd show this one though. This is Power of the Hunter, which was their second album, and then you have their very first album, Filth, Hounds of Hades. This one, there's several different covers of this one. This is probably, I can't remember where this one's from.
What's the label?
I don't know.
Rampage.
I think it's a UK pressing.
Probably.
But anyhow, regardless of where is it French? It looks French to me. I don't know. Who knows?
This reminds me of something else.
This is what's his name? Augie, bass player, vocalist.
Augie Doggy and Doggy
Augie Ward. Augie Ward's band. Always thought of as kind of a poor man's Motorhead. More. That's even pushed more because it was produced by Fast Eddie Clarke. This album was, and yeah, it has that edge, kind of that rock and roll meets punk edge, especially the vocals, which are very raspy and have that, and then it's got that dirty growling bass like Lemmy had. But it, that may be true of someone who doesn't know anything about Motorhead and heavy metal and Tank. They very much have their own distinct sounds, and this I think is a very classic album. Yeah, actually both these are.
The funny thing about this one, it's just totally going off track. This looks almost identical. This back cover of Power of the Hunter. It's got a guy running down a city street. It looks like the back cover of Steve Perry's first solo album, the one that had Oh Sherry on it.
Oh.
It looks almost identical. That's just a stupid little thing.
But yeah, that's not a bad song on here. Blood, Guts, and Beer. I mean, come on, yeah. Turn Head Around, Heavy Artillery. What else is on? Oh, Shell Shock. They're both great. There's really not. You can't go wrong with either one of these albums.
TWDAMO. You know what it stands for?
I do not remember. Do you?
No.
I know I have it on my
I'll make
website.
something up real quick.
I know I have it on my website, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it stood for. Have to put it in below, I guess. Again, another one of those facts we can't remember.
I wonder if it's something that they say in the song, or if it's something really obscure that they don't want you to know. Like on the Raven Live at the Inferno live album, they have a bass solo, and the title is IGARBO. Igarbo. John told me what that meant.
What is it?
I've got a rampant boner on. So it's probably something filthy or something.
Well, Siago, Blackfoot.
Oh yeah,
it's another one. All right, so next one up, Gary Moore, Quarters of Power. Gary Moore, of course, being the ex on again, off again, Thin Lizzy guitar player.
And Skid Row before that. Not your Skid Row.
And G-Force.
Yeah, G-Force.
But
that wasn't even it.
This album
wasn't there another thing he was involved in?
There's been several he was involved in, but
he did a lot.
This album here, I don't think it had any huge hits on it, except for Wishing Well, which was a cover of the Free song.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that Bob Daisley?
That is Bob Daisley.
He got around.
Yep, Bob was
Murray.
Bob was touring with Gary Moore before he joined Ozzy too, as I believe.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, pretty sure I'm right. But also, End of the World, Rockin' Every Night, both great heavy songs. Always Gonna Love You is the ballad on the album. Don't Take Me for a Loser, another hard rockin' song. I really like Gary Moore's sound, his style, his charisma. You know, he doesn't sound like anybody else to me. I don't know why I keep bringing up Popoff, but Popoff doesn't like him. Says he's too generic sounding. I don't get it.
Popoff was a Kerrang guy, wasn't he?
Popoff, he's the guy who wrote all the heavy metal. Yeah. I don't know. To me, I think Gary's got his own sound, unique style. You can tell, especially his vocals. I mean, you know it's his vocals. So, yeah. Ian Paice, Neil Murray, Tommy Aaron on keyboards.
I know that name, but I can't remember from where.
But anyhow, right on.
Awesome. Staying.
I just realized that this album has somebody wrote on this copy.
It's not an autograph either.
No, it's not. Okay. It's Jay Hughes. Jay Hughes, maybe I don't know, maybe Jay Hughes. Jay Hughes, I have your album. Thanks for writing on the cover. Appreciate it.
Thanks for writing on it.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, this is one of my favorites from '82. It could have been in our top 10, but it just wasn't quite. Couldn't quite. It just got bumped out. Tigers of Pantang, The Cage. This was the fourth album.
Yep, fourth album for them.
The one right after John Sykes left. Some of his guitar parts might still be in places on here. Not positive, but first Tigers I ever heard. I knew of Tigers, just didn't have any of their stuff. I found a cassette one time in a record shop. It's like, I want to check this out. Got it. Very commercially viable, almost like a pop metal kind of thing.
So far removed from the very first album.
Oh yeah, totally. They had really refined the sound, and as strange as it is, I mean, because this was the first one I heard, it's my favorite. Most of the stuff, most of my taste is going to run toward their earlier stuff that has more of the edge to it, but for some reason this album just goes under my skin. And I recommend it to people that are into that kind of melodic rock, metal type stuff, like Sean Paul.
Right.
I was like, dude, all this stuff you like, you will love this album. And I sent it to him. And there's not a song in here I don't like. I think the thing that's cool about it that I really like is it's passionate. It's not a bunch of fluff like a lot of hair metal was. It's not all sex and drugs and rock and roll. There's some kind of deep subject matter in this, which I like. I like it a lot more. And they do a cover of Love Potion #9,
correct,
early '60s.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Love Potion #9 did feature the guitar work of
John Sykes. Yes, I think you're right. And
because I remember seeing the single for that album, and if I'm not mistaken, they had Sykes on the cover of the single.
It may have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or at least a version of it. I don't remember for sure. But
that might have been a CD that I was thinking of too, but regardless.
yeah, he's not listed on here.
No.
He's not given any credit. I think he might have had some tracks appear on.
He probably had just left the band to join Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, it was
Because
probably really.
what year
This
did,
is '82 and Thunder and Lightning
That
was
came out in 83. Yep.
Making tracks. It kind of sounds like he might have had something to do with that as well. But great album. Awesome cover art too. Which they always have good covers. I mean, you got a Tiger, you got album covers for the rest of your career.
And next up, in 1982, Gillan, Magic.
Now, is this Gillan?
This is still Gillan the band.
Or the Ian Gillan
This
band?
is still Gillan the band. This is still John McCoy. And, but on guitars, we had lost Bernie Torme,
right.
and we had gained, who went on to Iron Maiden?
JUGGERNAUT?
JUGGERNAUT.
Oh, okay.
So, this would have been the... I don't know how many albums this would have been for them, but
Is this a double?
it is it's a single album, but it is a gatefold.
Oh, okay.
This is a European pressing, and Gillan was really big over in Europe. Look at that! Look at that!
Wow,
psychedelic
that's
cover.
really cool.
But
I love it. I love artwork that represents the band in that way. Either as cartoon characters or.
but yeah, I mean it's Gillan. It's a heavy album. It's it's heavy like new wave British heavy metal stuff. It's like it's got a Priest kind of heaviness to it.
This has got to be This got to be from a tarot card. It looks like that type of artwork.
Could be. I mean, the name of the album Magic.
Well, it's called Magic. Yeah, it makes sense.
But this was the last, if I'm not mistaken, the last full-length Gillan album with the band Gillan, as opposed to Gillan going off and doing his solo stuff, or the Ian Gillan band. And of course, later on, Yannick Gears would join Bruce Dickinson, and then eventually Iron Maiden. So there you go.
He would dance across stages all over the world.
Yes, he would. But anyhow, it's a heavy album. It's a very heavy album. Great album from Gillan. And he's got one of the best voices in metal, as far as I'm concerned. The guy can sing and he can scream like nobody's business.
And he's still doing it.
Oh yeah.
And
he's
I think he just hit 70. And he's still doing
It was
it.
a few years ago. I saw him with Deep Purple, and they did the entire Machine Head album. Fantastic.
I've never seen Purple. Never seen him in any incarnation. It sucks. Can't see them all.
The noises in the background, by the way, is Randy's son, who I think is enjoying walking back and forth and making noises.
Yeah, he's pissing all over the video, making his mark.
Whatever. All right, next up, guitar heavy rock and roll from Pat Travers. This album was my first concert. Was Pat Travers and Aerosmith playing together at the Spectrum.
Oh, Pat Travers
in
opened for
1983.
him?
Pat Travers opened up on this tour. I had to go buy this record after that. I love this record. It's one of my favorites.
The band that opened for Aerosmith when I saw him on that same tour, we both had the same first proper show, was Aerosmith on the
Rock and Hard Place tour. Yep.
Which was in 80. Well, the album was in 82. I saw him in 83. The band that opened for Aerosmith was this band called The Enemy, but they played a bunch of Joe Perry Project songs from I've Got the Rock and
Oh,
Roll
that's interesting.
And this was in Maine, so I don't know if it was a dig at Joe, if it was secretly the Joe Perry Project. I still haven't figured that out, and I
I'll have to look into that. I don't know.
Never ever have heard of this band again.
Well, Aerosmith and Pat Travers played at the Spectrum when I saw them, and then I don't even know if it was a month or maybe it was 2 months. I don't know. At the Spectrum, Aerosmith played again at the Spectrum with Anvil opening up.
Anvil, wow.
Yep. So, and I would have loved to have seen that, but
And that's the year Metal on Metal came out.
Yep. I was literally a kid, but it was my first concert. So anyhow, I love this album. Okay. So anyhow, what you got in here? I love you, which is a fantastic song. You have Beethoven's The Fifth, which is a guitar instrumental thing. A fantastic jam called Rockin'. Bob Marley's Misty Morning, which is another.
Does he do it reggae style?
No, he does it Pat Travers style, and he does it well. It's not cheesy. It sounds good. Very guitar heavy record, kind of in that Pat Travers, Robin Trower.
Well, it is Pat Travers.
Robin Trower. Think who else we're talking about here? Joe Perry Project.
I can't
Mahogany
think of
Rush.
Frank Marino. There we go.
Kind of in that Guitar Hero kind of stuff. And great stuff. Oh, here's the back cover. This is after having to be a promo, which is in pristine condition, doesn't have any cuts on it, which I wondered if he's liked it. But I always liked the cell sticker on there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great album, Pat Travers. So, keeping up, I happen to have a lot more in my pile than Randy for some weird reason.
Anything in there I can... Well, I can't talk about that one. One on the top.
Speaking of Frank Marino, this is one of my all-time favorite albums, and had this top 10 list not been a collaboration of both of us and some other people that I asked, this album would have been in my top 5 for that year, because I absolutely love this album.
Wow.
Heavy record, heavy guitar record. I mean, it's not heavy. You think metal, you think fast, and it's not that. It's just, there's a whole different definition of heavy that we have than modern.
And I think with time, you're forced to reevaluate the genres, and that's why we've had so many passionate exchanges with people online about it.
Yep. But I mean, Strange Dreams on here, that's one of my favorite songs ever by him. And then Stories of a Hero, it's like an 8-minute jam, tribute to military men and women. The closer, Juggernaut, the double entendres of Ditch Queen. Yep. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to look up you know, you can't even look up the lyrics. You got to hear the song and listen to the lyrics closely, and you'll hear it.
And this is just Frank Marino solo, no Mahogany Rush. Okay.
Yeah, this was Frank Marino's second album without the name Mahogany Rush. So anyhow, not a bad song on it.
Was his first one the one we did for 81?
Yes, his first one was 81.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
So, cool. Anyhow, Frank Marino, this would have been on Columbia. This too being a gold label promo. I don't really collect gold label promos for purposeful reasons, but I'm just looking for a perfect copy, and
sometimes it's just fun to see what you end up with.
And I love this cover. I just love the simplicity of it.
It's a killer cover.
And the shot of him on the back wearing all the black leather and studs.
That is a good shot, and that's kind of classic. He's got the Les Paul without the white ring around his pickup switch.
Great.
This could easily be a Frazetta drawing, and it might be. I'm not positive.
I don't think it is.
It sure looks like his style.
Nope, Joseph Malik.
Whoever that is.
Don't know who that is, but yeah.
We like your cover, Joe.
Yeah. Anyhow, like I said, one of my favorites. Would have been in my personal top 10 for that year. I just like it that much. Next up is one we both probably talk about. And I literally have 10 or 15 copies of this friggin' album. Nugent. This was a self-titled album. Although he had a self-titled album in '73 called Ted Nugent. Yeah, this one was simply titled Nugent.
This was a departure for him, too.
Yep, this was his first album on Atlantic Records.
Yep, and it was his first album without Derek St. Holmes.
Now, Derek St. Holmes had returned on this album.
But we've got Dave Kaswini, who was he was part of the second incarnation of Players, like from State of Shock on.
And then on drums, Carmine Appice.
Yeah, he goes a piece and his brother goes Appice. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I actually have a cool drum poster where they did a Drum Wars show together, and it's signed by both brothers.
Oh, cool.
And SMF Captain Howdy.
Great drummers. Carmine Appice has been around forever, too. He played with Vanilla Fudge, which was such early metal. Like, what was it, 68?
67, 8. Yeah. And then, this is also one of the first Nugent albums where it starts getting into political stuff going on in here.
Yeah, and at the time, I was still pretty young. I was about 13, 14. And what's the song on here that I loved? Oh, Bound and Gagged.
Bound and Gagged.
It's total cheeseball, but, you know, for a kid who's still in America and not jaded yet, it's a great song. It's just like, Charlie Daniels Band doing In America. It's that whole kind of redneck. Yeah. Super patriotic for no good reason other than I said so, that's why.
But what I think about that song that's funny is it was all about what was going on in the Middle East at the time.
Yep.
It's still appropriate.
It is.
It's still appropriate.
You know, the hostage situation in Iran, all that stuff, that was still very much
it's still
very recent.
It's still appropriate. So, and of course, No 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 is a fantastic song. And then
Tail Gunner. My favorite.
Tail Gunner
that's got a Nugent riff that will compete with his best, like Stranglehold, Stormtrooper.
It's a face melter.
Oh, totally kick-ass song.
Nugent, if you ever see this video, play that song live again. It's a great song.
He did a special, and it was right around the time Intensities in 10 Cities came out. He did an anti-drug special, I think it was ABC, they had him for it, and this was when I first was learning that Nugent was very anti-drug and all that. He previewed Tail Gunner on that show, I remember. Because when this came out, I was like, yes, that friggin' song, he did it, cool. So yeah, great song.
And I always love this logo, the three guitars with the skull in there.
And totally different for him. I mean, he had that kind of cursive, really savage-looking Ted Nugent logo, which is still one of the most recognizable out there.
And this is two copies. I actually met Ted several times. This one's autographed by him. This one I've had framed on my walls for years. I just took it out of the frame because I put the Iron Maiden when I got recently autographed on there by Derek Riggs.
Yeah.
And then this is a Japanese promo copy It actually came in this plastic sleeve, and I kept the price tag on and everything. it says $20, but I
Just in
actually
case
got
anyone
it.
wants to argue.
I got it for half price, but anyhow, I like Japanese pressings, and I played it once. Sounds better than the American copy. I don't know why.
I've always heard that.
It just
I've always
does.
heard Japanese pressings, even on CD,
I mean, it's not like a
have a better sound.
It's not like a real radical difference, but it just has a very much cleaner sound.
Yeah.
And this is a promo sample right here, so.
I mean, you're gonna have American companies that are looking to save money.
Eventually, I'll show my Nugent collection, and I'll show my massive amounts of versions of that.
That'll be scary.
So.